Hey everyone, welcome to a deep dive today into the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Oh, classic.
It really is. By Stephen Covey. We're going to go deep.
Yeah.
Really uncover those gems that make this book so impactful. So much wisdom in here.
I think what's really interesting is that a lot of people might not know this, but Covey, wasn't just like a self-help guru.
Right.
He was a serious academic.
Yeah.
He had a doctorate in religious education. And the research that went into the 7 Habits is really extensive. He pulls from psychology, philosophy, history, you name it. So it's a really solid foundation.
Okay, so we've all heard of these 7 habits.
Right.
But what's the big idea? What ties it all together?
Well, Covey basically lays out a path, path for growth.
Yeah.
And he talks about moving from dependence,
Yeah.
which is where you're relying on other people, to independence, where you're taking responsibility for your own life, and then ultimately to interdependence,
Okay.
where you realize that you can achieve so much more by working together.
So it's not just about being this, lone wolf,
Yeah.
independent. It's about understanding how to connect and collaborate
Yes.
effectively with others. All right, let's jump into habit 1, be proactive. I've always kind of associated this with just like a can-do attitude,
Yeah.
but I bet there's more to it than that.
There's definitely a can-do element to it.
Hmm.
But Covey introduces this idea of the circle of influence.
Okay.
So instead of stressing about things that you can't control,
Mm-hmm.
like the weather or
Right.
what other people are saying about you,
Mm.
proactive people, they focus their energy on what they can influence, their choices,
Right.
their actions, their attitude.
So instead of complaining about traffic,
Exactly.
a proactive person might, look for a different route or adjust their schedule to avoid it.
Right. It's about taking charge,
Yeah.
where you can, and here's where it gets even more interesting. Covey connects this idea of proactivity to values.
Okay.
So it's not just about doing things.
Right.
It's about acting in alignment with what matters most to you.
Oh, so being intentional, living a life that actually reflects those things that you hold
Absolutely.
dear. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Habit 2, begin with the end in mind.
Right.
Sounds kind of like fortune telling.
A little bit,
Yeah.
but not really. Think about it less as, predicting the future,
Right.
and more about having a blueprint for your life.
Mm.
So just like an architect wouldn't start building a house without a detailed plan,
Yeah.
Covey's suggesting that we should have a clear vision for where we want to go in life and then make choices that lead us in that direction.
Okay, so goal setting, but with,
A deeper purpose behind it.
yeah, because I know a lot of people set goals and then never achieve them. What's the
Right.
secret sauce there?
Well, a lot of times it's because those goals aren't really connected to anything bigger,
Right.
So think about your ideal life 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What does success really look like to you?
Okay.
That's the kind of big picture thinking that Covey's talking about.
Yeah.
And he even suggests creating a personal mission statement.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a company would have.
Exactly. Even if it's just a simple phrase or a sentence.
Okay.
It can be incredibly powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say your personal mission statement is, I want to be known for my kindness and creativity.
Okay.
Suddenly, if there's an opportunity to volunteer at a local art program, you're like,
It aligns.
oh, that fits with my mission.
That's really cool. Okay, habit 3. Put first things first.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. In today's world with so many distractions,
Well, no.
this feels more relevant than ever.
Absolutely. And tell me, have you ever had one of those days where you're like super busy all day long,
Oh yeah.
but at the end of the day, you're like, what did I actually accomplish?
All the time. It's like you're just spinning your wheels.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's what this habit is all about.
Hmm.
Covey says that most of us, we spend way too much time on things that are urgent but not important.
Oh, interesting.
So to combat this, he introduces this tool called the time management matrix.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
I have, yeah.
Okay. So picture like a grid divided into 4 boxes.
Yeah.
And you've got like urgent and important, not urgent, but important, and so on.
Yeah, I'm picturing it.
So the key here is to minimize the amount of time you're spending in those urgent but not important tasks.
Right.
The stuff that just kind of sucks up all your time and energy.
Yeah.
And the real magic, the real juice, is in that not urgent but important quadrant.
Okay.
This is where you focus on things like long-term planning, relationship building, personal development, all those activities that contribute to your long-term goals and well-being, but they don't have a screaming deadline.
Oh, wow. This is eye-opening. I can already see how just shifting your focus to that one quadrant
Right.
can make such a huge difference. Okay, habit 4. Think win-win. Does this mean everyone gets a trophy?
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's not about everybody getting the same outcome.
Yeah.
It's really about shifting from this competitive mindset
Yeah, okay.
where somebody has to lose for you to win
Right.
to a more collaborative mindset
Right.
where you believe that there are solutions out there that can benefit everyone involved.
Right. So instead of every interaction being like this battle,
Right.
you're looking to create value for everyone.
Exactly. So imagine you're in a tough negotiation, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just digging in your heels and saying, this is what I want.
Right.
Think win-win means getting curious about the other person's needs. Maybe there's a solution out there that you haven't even considered
Yeah.
that gives both of you what you really want.
I love that. Finding creative solutions instead of just
Exactly.
compromising. This kind of reminds me of habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Yes, you're making the connections here. These habits, they really do build on each other.
Yeah.
And seeking first to understand is so crucial for achieving those win-win outcomes.
Yeah.
Think about a time when you felt really, truly heard and understood by someone.
It's a validating feeling.
It is. And it makes you more open to hearing their perspective as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the power of what Covey calls empathic listening. You're not just waiting for your turn to talk. You're not planning your rebuttal in your head. You're genuinely trying to see the world through the other person's eyes.
This feels like a game changer.
It is.
For relationships, personally, professionally.
Absolutely.
Okay, habit 6, synergize. This one always sounds to me like a corporate team building.
It does. It
Let's
does.
preachy kind of thing.
But it's applicable in so many different areas of life.
Okay.
So synergy. It's really about the magic that happens when people with different perspectives, different skills come together to create something greater than any one of them could have achieved on their own.
It's like a musical band, right? Each musician has their own
Yes.
unique talent.
Perfect analogy.
But then when they play together,
The whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
it's something special.
Exactly. So it's not just about teamwork. It's about valuing those differences,
Right.
recognizing that everyone brings something unique to the table.
And that's where all those previous habits really,
They all come into play.
you need to be proactive.
Right.
Have a shared vision.
Yes. Prioritize effectively.
Absolutely.
Seek those win-win solutions. Understand each other's perspectives.
You got it.
This is inspiring, but it also feels like a lot.
It is.
All this focus on effectiveness. Where is the space for just rest and rejuvenation?
That is where habit 7 comes in. Sharpen the saw.
Sharpen the saw. Okay, now I'm intrigued.
Right. Have you ever felt like completely burned out, like you're running on fumes?
Oh, yeah.
So just like a saw, if you keep using it without taking the time to sharpen it, eventually it's going to become dull and ineffective.
Oh, I know that feeling. And you
Yes.
can't just keep going and going
They can't.
at that pace forever.
And that's why Covey says self-care isn't selfish. It's essential for sustained effectiveness. So sharpen the saw means consistently renewing yourself. Physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually.
So it's more than just hitting the gym or getting enough sleep.
It is. It's about those things too.
Right.
But it's also about anything that truly recharges you. Learning something new, spending time in nature, connecting with loved ones, meditating. It's about tending to all aspects of your...
All aspects of your well-being.
Yeah, that's such a good reminder that you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
You got to prioritize your own well-being to be effective
You do.
in all those other areas of your life.
Well said. It's about investing in yourself so you can show up as your best self.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive, I want to introduce another concept that Covey emphasizes throughout the book.
Okay. Okay, you mentioned another concept. What is it?
It's this idea of paradigms.
Paradigms. I always think of those optical illusions
Yes.
where you see one thing and then suddenly
Yeah.
it's like a totally different picture.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Covey uses the word paradigm to describe those mental lenses through which we see the world.
Okay.
It's like a set of deeply held assumptions
Okay.
and beliefs that shape how we interpret everything around us.
So it's like filters that color our perception.
Exactly. And here's the thing. We're often not even aware of these paradigms.
Interesting.
They operate on a subconscious level, influencing our thoughts and our feelings and actions without us even realizing it.
So how do these paradigms connect to the 7 habits?
Well, Covey believes that to really internalize and live by these habits, you need to shift your paradigms.
Okay.
He uses the example of the abundance mentality versus the scarcity mentality.
Okay.
You heard of these?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so someone with a scarcity mindset, they see the world as this zero-sum game.
Mm.
They believe there's only a limited amount of success or wealth or happiness to go around.
Okay.
And this leads to competition, fear,
Right.
a constant sense of lack.
So if someone gets a promotion at work,
Yes.
they see that as a loss for them
Exactly.
instead of celebrating that person's success.
Yeah, yeah. Instead of being happy for them, it's like, oh, there's less for me now.
Wow.
But someone with an abundance mentality believes there's enough for everyone.
Okay.
They see opportunities for collaboration, for growth, for shared success.
So they're not threatened
Not at all.
by other people's achievements.
Because they believe there's always more to go around.
I can see how that paradigm shift would be huge
Yeah.
for
Absolutely.
thinking win-win or synergize. If you're constantly worried about someone taking your piece of the pie,
Right.
you're not going to be open to collaborating.
Exactly. It's all connected.
Yeah.
Are there any other paradigms that you remember from the book?
Well, I know he also talks about reactive versus proactive.
Yes. Remember the circle of influence.
Right.
That's all about shifting from a reactive mindset where you feel like a victim of circumstances
Okay.
to a proactive mindset where you recognize your own power to choose your response.
So instead of saying, this happened to me,
Right.
a proactive person would say,
I choose to respond this way.
yeah.
Proactive people, they focus their energy on what they can control. They don't waste time blaming others or dwelling on things they can't change.
That's a powerful shift.
It is.
And perspective.
It is. And there's another one that I think is really important. He talks about the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset.
Okay. Yeah.
So someone with a fixed mindset, they believe their abilities are set in stone.
Okay.
They avoid challenges. They give up easily when things get tough.
Right.
But someone with a growth mindset believes that they can always learn and improve.
Okay.
They see setbacks as temporary,
Yeah.
and they embrace challenges as opportunities for growth.
It's like those students who are terrified of failing a test.
Exactly.
A growth mindset would see that test as a chance to
Yes.
identify areas where they need to improve.
Absolutely. And this idea of paradigm shifts, it applies to all areas of life,
Right.
whether it's our beliefs about success, relationships, even our own potential, the lenses through which we view the world. They have a profound impact on our experiences and our outcomes.
It's insightful. I think a lot of self-help advice focuses on the external stuff.
Right.
Setting goals, managing your time. But Covey's saying true transformation starts internally.
Yes, it's an inside-out approach.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got the habits.
Right.
We've got paradigms. It can feel a little overwhelming.
It can be a lot.
Where do you even start to apply all of this?
That is a great question.
Wow.
And Covey doesn't expect you to master all 7 habits overnight.
Right.
He suggests starting with just one habit that resonates with you
Okay.
and just focus on incorporating that into your daily life.
So it's about building momentum.
Yeah.
Like you said, starting small.
Start small
and
and then
build from there.
gradually increasing the load.
Great analogy. It's about making small, consistent changes over time. Don't try to do everything at once.
Okay.
Just focus on one step at a time. And then as you master one habit, you'll naturally start to integrate the others.
I love that a gradual approach
Oh, yeah.
makes it much more attainable.
It does.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot today. We've explored the 7 habits. We've delved into paradigms.
A lot of good stuff.
We talked about those internal shifts
Yeah.
that are so important for lasting change. What are some key takeaways that you hope listeners will walk away with?
Well, I hope they understand that effectiveness is a choice. It's not about luck or circumstance. It's about aligning your actions with these timeless principles that Covey outlines in the book.
Taking ownership
Yeah.
of your choices and your life.
Absolutely. And secondly, I hope they recognize that lasting change. It starts from within,
Yeah.
It's about examining your beliefs,
Okay.
challenging those limiting paradigms, and making conscious choices that move you towards your desired outcomes.
It's never too late to start.
Never too late.
Whether you're just beginning your journey or you've been working on these habits for years,
Absolutely.
there's always room for improvement.
Always.
And it's a journey.
It is a journey,
It's not a destination.
not a destination.
The beauty is in that process
Yes.
of continuous learning and improvement. Now, before we wrap up, I have one final thought-provoking question for you.
If you had to pick just one of these habits to really focus on and master, which one do you think would have the biggest positive impact on your life, and why?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is.
It's like choosing a favorite child. But if I had to pick just one, I'd probably go with habit 1. Be
Yeah.
proactive.
Interesting. Why habit 1?
I think because it's the foundation for all the other habits. You know, if you're not taking responsibility for your own life, if you're constantly reacting to circumstances instead of making conscious choices, it's going to be really hard to build any of the other habits on top of that.
That makes sense. It all starts with that internal shift,
Right.
realizing that you have the power to choose how you respond.
Exactly. Once you embrace that proactive mindset, you start seeing opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You focus on solutions instead of problems.
Yeah.
And you start creating a life that's truly aligned with your values and your vision.
It's like you're taking back control of the steering wheel
Yeah,
instead of just letting life happen to you.
that's a great way to put it. It's about becoming the author of your own story.
Okay, well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today.
We have.
The 7 Habits. It's a book that can truly change your life
It can.
if you're willing to put in the effort.
It's not just about reading the book.
Right.
It's about applying those principles.
Living it.
Yeah, in your daily life,
Yeah,
you know, making those small, consistent changes.
right. It's a journey,
It's a journey,
not a destination.
not a destination.
Yeah,
We're all works in progress,
we are.
and that's okay.
That's okay. We'd love to hear from you. Which habit resonated most with you,
Yes.
and how are you going to start incorporating it into your life?
Yeah, tell us about it.
Join the conversation online. Let us know.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.